I got a video now. I shot the footage about a year and a bit ago. It was me doing an oil change on my Royal Enfield Classic 500. I'm just going to show you how I did the oil change. I'm very careful not to say it's a how-to video, but look over my shoulders, see what I'm doing as I talk to myself doing an oil change, right? I don't want dirty guys going on my case, right? Tell me how shit I am, because I already know how shit I am, right? I have the Bible. This is the Royal Enfield Classic 500, Bullet 500. It actually says Continental 535 Continental GT manual. So it's the Haynes manual. When I did the oil change, I didn't have the manual, but it's just an oil change, right? What could possibly go wrong? But anyway, I'm just going to talk you through it a little bit, what I did. Like I say, I always have a disclaimer. I'm not a mechanic. I'm just an imbecile, an absolute buffoon imbecile. But I do have a reasonable amount of mechanical knowledge. I've fixed Land Rovers over the years, done up Land Rovers and whatnot. I've got some basic knowledge anyway. But like I say, I'm not a mechanic. So treat this video as pure entertainment.
I'm just going to quickly show you through all the stuff we're going to need to do the service. First off, while I'm doing that, bike's just been for a run, it's still ticking over, keep it nice and warm. Obviously you want your oil nice and thin, so yeah, get the engine hot basically before you do this. Do let it cool down a little bit before you do it, because it might burn you. Right, so things you're going to need tool wise, you're going to need a couple of sockets just for my regular motorbike toolkit, the things I carry on it. I got a 19mm socket, so that's the 19 for the main sump plug. I've got an 8mm socket, and then I got another what's this, another 12mm socket. You're going to need obviously a new oil filter. You're going to need a little tub. This is just a plastic bloody salad bowl tub thing, disposable thing, really just to soak your oil filter in that. And then you're obviously going to need some oil. I've actually got an old oil bottle here for something else. I'm going to use this to measure, because it's basically one litre bottle. So what I want to do is measuring exactly the right amount of oil that goes in. These things, I've never seen these before. This is oil that you get in a cardboard box. It's basically got a very thin plastic bag inside it. I nearly ripped this thing open, not realising that what you're meant to do is obviously, if you can see this basically, but it's just on a bag inside. So all you do, you just punch through the circle, don't pull this off. You just say, it looks like a cutout, but don't cut that out. Punch the circle out, pull it up, grab hold of this, and obviously it just slots in there, and then you can just slot this, using two hands is better than one. Slot it in there, and that's your oil bag. So it must be some eco-friendly way of doing it. Anyway, yeah, don't just rip your bag open. I actually thought this was, a couple of 1 litre, 4 1 litre, whatever, oil bottles in there, but no, it's not. That's how they do it these days anyway. So I'm using the Silkaling Comp 4XP Ester-based oil 15W50 4T. This is what's recommended by Hitchcock's. Mine's still in the running period. It's first service actually. This is first service on the bike. Still in the running period. So I want to use this not fully synthetic oil basically. It's a part synthetic, I think it is. So yeah, use this, and then whilst you're running in, once you've run in, then there's a fully synthetic equivalent of this. I'll put links in the description. You're probably going to need you will need some spare copper washers. I haven't got any, that's the wrong set. So I'm going to show you how to anneal the washers. You can reuse them. You're just going to basically anneal them so that they go soft again. So if you're in a sticky situation like I am and you haven't got any new ones, it's a quick way of doing it. Obviously a rag or cloth, shop towel, whatever you want to call it. Obviously you're going to need something to catch your oil. So I've got this handy dandy little cheapy washing up bowl to catch the oil. It's not ideal, but it will do. The actual oil pan I've got is, I lost mine, so I've ordered a new one off Amazon, but guess what, it's not turned up yet, so we're going to do that. Went to Belfast on the bike last weekend. That's why it's so mucky. Right, the bike's just cooling off a little bit now. So what I'm going to do first, before I go about draining anything, I want to make sure I've got everything prepared. So apart from the copper washers, which doesn't matter because I'm going to anneal, I've got what I need, I believe. I'm going to go and start unscrewing things slowly, because I want to make sure that everything undoes. Before I start draining oil, I want to make sure I can put it back in, nothing's seized. So the filler cap, I'm just going to make sure that's loose, which it is. So we're going to need, like I say, the 19, the 12, and 8mm. I'm just going to go underneath. It's a lovely sunny day today. Hopefully you can hear me all right. It's a bit of a mucky job this, but let's have a look what we got. I don't know if you can see this. This is the main sump plug. This is actually a magnet on the main sump plug. So I'm going to take the magnet off. Been running with that for a while just to catch any crap. Put the magnet out the way. And then under here is your main sump plug. So we're going to just check that's loose. I'll check it can be loosened easily. And like I say, this is the 19mm socket we need for this. And that is easily undone. Right, the next one we're going to need to do is going to be, if I can get to it. Where are you? Where are you? It's here actually. I don't know if you can see this one. It's this thing here. Can you see that? It's really hard to see. It's these two here basically. So these are 8mm. So again, I'm just gonna see if we just crack these off and just check that they do loosen off. Yes, 1 or 2. You might find this cylinder is in the way. I'm finding that on mine. It's not too bad. Right, that cracks off okay. Okay, the last one is this one here, which is the 12mm one. So this is at the front of the bike. The main one with the magnets there, just put the magnet back on while we're waiting. And the front one's here, 12mm. Again, I'm just gonna check that it will undo, and it will do. Just cracking it off. Right, so they're all cracked off now, so that's good. Just take my magnet back off again. Sticking to everything. I'm just going to check the oil filter housing again. 8mm socket on these ones. I just want to make sure we can crack those off. That one's loose. Yep, they're all loose. Right, so we're not going to have any problems hopefully, at least on that front. Right, so we'll get some of this oil and we're going to just pour it into the filter and also let it soak around it. The tub's perfectly clean, so if there's any oil still in there, we can reuse it for something else. Basically, the oil that's the extra oil, we can just pour back in the bottle and put it in the engine once we're done. So that's kind of sat there now, completely soaking in some oil. I'm going to put this inside the house because I don't want anything going in it. What we're going to do now, we're going to get the bowl underneath. Right, well that bad boy filter is soaking in oil. We're going to get this oil drained off, and obviously what we've already done is we've loosened the nuts, so this should just turn by hand now. Thinking. Just watch your hand. If this oil's too hot, you obviously don't want it to burn you.
I didn't have any bloody gloves when I did this, so you are meant to use gloves. Don't copy me in this video. Wear some rubber gloves or some barrier cream. I can't remember if I mentioned this at the start. I didn't have any. You'll see me getting oil all over my hands. I put my hand in the hot oil because it wasn't that hot, right? As I was draining the thing, you know, if you're not careful, you A, get the oil in your hand. It's not good for your skin. And B, you could burn yourself.
Don't want to take that out now. Now the next one are these bolts that are next to the gauze filter. Sits behind here. Again, really easy to undo. Make sure you try and not drop anything in the oil, because we don't really want to go flicking things out if we can help it. Right, so when we take this out, just be careful, just in case the gauze filter drops out. But that is pretty much out now. And you can see the gauze filter there as well. So you want to just check that. Right, so this is what we took out. This is the gauze filter. Just worth giving that a bit of a clean. There's really no crud on that at all. It's already pretty clean actually. So that's the gauze filter. But yeah, give that a clean. But this is the, there's a bit of, you see there's some sort of filings on there, ferrous material on there, not a lot, but we'll get that wiped off as well. Just wipe that off. Clean all that up. Again, we've got an O-ring in there, which kind of looks all right, good condition. I'm going to leave that on for this service. Well, the dripping's more or less stopped now, which is good. So we're just going to do the last one now, which is this front one. Can we move the camera so you can see it? It's basically this one there. Hard to see, I know. We're going to get that as the 12mm one. Just not as loose as the other ones. I don't know if it's meant to be not as loose, but this is a bit more effort to get that one undone. You really wear a glove, nitrile gloves when you're doing this, but again, I haven't got any. Not as organised as I thought I was, really, but anyway. Not good for your hands, is old engine oil. Right, so one thing you could do, once you've got all the oil drained, you can actually tip the bike left to right, rock it a little bit. You will get a little bit more oil out of it if you do that. Shall we do it? Oh, fuck it, yeah, let's do that. Let's see how much more oil comes out of it, actually. Okay, so sorry, the sun's probably going to start going in a little bit now. You might struggle to see this, but I'm going to take the oil filter hose off next. Just put some of that over there. Try and make sure you don't get this on your brake pedal or pegs. Try not to get it in your exhaust, although it will burn off. Right. Out the shot. The sun's moving around now, so I'm sorry. It's going to be hard to see. It's going to appear dark. It's a lovely bright day, but it's going to appear dark, isn't it? If you watch the Ride with Warrow videos, the guy in, I think it's Australia or New Zealand, I think Australia, he does mention about these being, you need to be careful about these because they're obviously under spring load. Just make sure that you don't absolutely, you just basically hold it, push it in, put some force in it when you're releasing these because you don't want these things to snap. Apparently they've been known to snap, according to Warrow. So, yeah. You need to do them evenly all the way around really, but obviously as I'm holding it in, it makes not a lot of difference because I'm holding it. It's really very hard to hold back with the thumb. You're going to need a hand on it really, 2 fingers on it. That should just come off now gently. Okay, right, so that's off. Yeah, keep your hands sort of free of grit when you're doing this. Just keep wiping them, you don't want any grit around when you're doing this. Get this in, we'll just put that out. This is the old oil filter obviously. Take that out, put that in there. If you were really anal about this, you could cut this open and check what crap's inside of it.
There is a bit of a hint in the Haynes manual. I might as well read it out to you. Check the old oil carefully. I need to put my bloody glasses on again for this. Problems of old age. I do still get through the night without going through a piss anyway. I'm not quite old yet. Check the old oil carefully. If it is very metallic coloured, then the engine is experiencing wear from braking. So if it's a new engine, or from insufficient lubrication. If there are flakes or chips of metal in oil, then something is drastically wrong internally, and the engine will have to be disassembled for inspection or repair. If there are pieces of fibre-like material in the oil, then the clutch is experiencing excessive wear and should be checked.
If you look in there, you'll see there is actually still the old O-ring. You do get one in the kit anyway. So maybe change that, probably recommend to change that, but we need to get that out as well.
So in the box with the oil filter, you do actually get two brand new O-rings, if that will focus. So obviously one for this end on the top. You don't get one of these ones, but that should be fine. You just need one of those. And obviously the one that's in there, you need to pull out. Right, so I'm just gonna get this little tiny screwdriver, make sure it's clean. I'm just going to use this just to get the old seal out, trying ever so carefully not to scratch anything in here. But you will find the seal stuck to the back wall in here. So, again, this is only done, whatever, 300 miles. It's going to be fine, isn't it? Really. But we might as well swap it anyway. Right, new O-rings. 1, 2 of them, front and back. So what we're going to do first, we're just going to get them covered in a little bit of this oil. Again, I've had this oil covered up now. Just yeah, so that covers a bit, covers them so they're not yeah, they don't give any resistance when they go in. Obviously that needs to be seated on the back wall in there. Should just be fine when you push this in with the oil filter anyway, to be perfectly honest. Right, that's vertical, so that's going to push in fine. Just going to put some oil on this other one. And then O-ring on top of, in fact the O-ring goes on to this bit. Take this old O-ring off. New O-ring goes on. And I'll just push against that in there. It's just time to get these screws in now. Basically keep the pressure on and get them all started is the trick. It's quite tricky but doable. You want all three on before you release any pressure. You want all three in finger tight, because you don't want any of these things to snap off. So obviously make sure you don't cross thread anything. Make sure they go on nice and easily. Fingers and thumbs, right. Okay, so that's pretty much done now. I'll take this off. Quite a lot of oil that we've caught on there that's fortunately not gone too much on the exhaust or anywhere else. A little bit went on my pedal, bad boy. Couldn't be helped. But mainly get it off your exhaust. It is going to smoke a bit, but get it off your engine casing and off your exhaust. Okay, I'm just going to nip these up till it's tight. 1, 2, 3, just so it stops, and then with each one, basically just no more than I'd say an 1/8 of a turn really. You don't need to be super tight with that.
it's got seals in it, will hold it. You don't want to snap anything. So pretty much that is the filter in now. Okay, I'll just wipe that. Right, next thing, we want to put the plugs back in now. Right, this is the main sump plug to put on now. Get that in so it starts to turn without cross threading it. Right, I'm just going to nip it up with the 19mm socket. I'm just going to nip it so it's snug, and then probably again 1/8 of a turn. Remember to put the sump plug magnet back on. There we go. Right, now the last one is the front one to put in, but the front one has got a copper washer on, and like I say, I haven't got a spare copper washer. So I'm going to show you now how to anneal this copper washer. So that means you can basically reuse it. You want it to go nice cherry red. Right, now it's gone red. Right, now I'm going to put it straight into the cold water now. And that is basically annealed. Give it another rub. And what that's done, that's basically made that copper nice and soft again, and that will form a nice tight seal. Right, back to the bike with our newly annealed copper washer. It's probably alright, isn't it? Just snugged up. Don't go mad. Don't hang on it. Obviously just inspect the O-ring, check there's no damage to it before you put it back on again. Obviously you can get new ones of these. So we're just going to get this underneath now, and we will get this gauze filter in. And again, that just nips up finger tight to begin with. Again, just snugged it up, and we're going to give it 1/8 of a turn.
So anyway, you got it all bolted back up again. The torque settings are in the book, but it's something like, let's have a look at the capacities. Again, I'm talking about the Classic 500 UCE engine. Mine's a 2020 model. You check your own bloody model, but on mine anyway, it is the oil type is an SAE 1550. I need to put my what my daughter calls, these are my readers basically. I'm late 40s now and I need readers. Right, so the engine oil is SAE 1550 API grade SL or higher, semi-synthetic, motorcycle oil, and it needs, like I said, 2.5 litres if you're just doing an oil change, oil and filter change, 2.5 litres. Torque settings it mentioned here, the engine oil drain plug is, you torque it back up to 20 Newton meters. Now, basically, don't over tighten this. What you don't want to do is strip the bloody the bolts going into the engine. You don't want the bolts and the sump plug. You don't want to over tighten them, basically. But yeah, 20 Newton meters for that. I normally just nip them up, snug it up, and then do it like 1/8 of a turn again. That's normally what I find works, but it just varies, doesn't it? At the end of the day, if it's leaking a bit, you can always snug it up a little bit more. But obviously, you don't want it leaking if you can help it. But you don't want to overdo it and strip your threads.
Give this a bit of a wipe.
Right, it's time for the fun bit now, filling it back up with oil. So, as a reminder, what we've got is the Silcoline. Let's have a look. Silcoline Comp 4XP ester-based 15W5040. Basically, this is recommended by Hitchcock when you're running in.
Once I've run it in, I'll probably go to a fully synthetic oil. So basically, yeah, so this first 300 mile service we're doing now, we're going to bang some of this in. What I'm going to do is actually just decant it into this. This is a 1 litre bottle. The oil capacity for the 500 bullet EFI engine is 2.75 litres from new. So when it's fully empty, 2.5 litres. But you never get all the oil completely out. Between 2.3 and 2.5 litres is what needs to go back in. I don't know what this is, 4 litres I think it is. So basically I need to measure this properly. So I know roughly when I'm up to like 2 litres, 2 and a bit litres, check the sight glass once we've started the engine up. That's why I'm going to go to this length of faffage. Right, we started with some clean funnels. Don't do this if you've got a nice new patio. Suggest you don't bloody do it on there, because it will go everywhere. Even if you're trying to be careful. I mean, I've still got fucking oil everywhere. That was me being careful. Right, let's get the filler cap back on. Just put your funnel away. Always keep these funnels somewhere where they're not going to get grit in. Always keep them in the Ziploc bag. Stop them getting grit in them. I'm wiping this now because I want to make sure there's no oil leaks, and the only way to tell is to have it clean so you can see any fresh drips. I guess that makes sense. I'm telling you all obvious crap here, I don't know why I'm even saying it. Right, next thing we're going to start the bike and we're going to let it tick over for 2 minutes. Yeah, we've definitely got oil in the oil glass, you can see it's full up in there anyway. But we need to, with it on its centre stand, let's start it. Oil's obviously dropping now a little bit. It'll find all its way in the oil ways now. Right, the bank's been running now for a couple of minutes, and we'll just check the oil level again. Yeah, it's at the top, so what I'm going to do now is just switch it off. We'll let that settle for a minute and then we'll check it again shortly. Give it another couple of minutes to settle. Last thing then, we're just going to check no oil leaks from the drain plugs. Right, so the very last thing you really need to do is just check the oil. It's once it's been settled, it's actually at the top on mine.
The only thing I would say is when you are checking the engine oil, this is normally not to do with an oil change, but just normally. There is a procedure to do on the Royal Enfield. Take my glasses off again, probably reflecting in there, Anna. There is a certain procedure to do it. You can be forgiven for thinking when you get your bike out your bike shed and it's maybe it's been on its side and it's back and it might look like when you've stood it up again on the centre stand, it might look like the engine oil is low, or you might not see any engine oil in your sight glass. And you might, oh shit, bloody, where's all the oil gone? Right, don't panic, because on these engines, what I've noticed, and I think this is a thing, but I'll probably do another video on this, but sometimes the engine oil kind of drains down and you need to basically start the engine to put it back in and then let it settle again for 10 minutes and it'll set and you'll see the level in your sight glass then. The funny engines, I think when it's been tipped on its side, it puts the oil in different galleries, whatever, anyway, I'll do another video on that anyway, of how you're meant to check that or how I check it. But yeah, if it looks like you have no engine oil at all, don't panic. It probably does have engine oil, but it might also be because it hasn't got engine oil in either, so just be careful with this.
Try and get as much oil off the exhaust as you can, because that will smoke a little bit, but don't worry about that too much. But yeah, just make sure you dispose of your old engine oil sensibly. So get an old container, take it to the council tip or whatever it is in your country. Do not throw it in your garden or down the drain. Be responsible. So I think that's it now, guys. So
I'm going to take it for a spin now around the block. We're just going to go do a bit of shopping and whatnot. Might as well take the bullet. And then, yeah, hopefully that's it. First service done. I hope that's been of some help for some of you. I know, like I said, there's a million videos on the internet how to do this, but now there's 1,000,001. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.
If you're enjoying this, please leave a like, a comment, a subscribe if you can do. As you see, I've now got the princely sum. This is, I think, we're in November 2024. I've got the princely sum of 26 whole full-time subscribers, and that's not a lot. But for me, starting from 0 subscribers a few weeks ago to this, and bear in mind, this is not a bloody job for me. I'm not trying to give up my day job to do this. It's just a bit of fun for shits and giggles, right? So I don't really care if I have 1, 2, 5, 10, 100 subscribers. It doesn't matter to me, but it's a bit of fun. And what it does do, if you do subscribe, it gives me a bit of an encouragement to make another video which might be useful. If you find this useful or interesting or entertaining in any way, shape or form, then by all means, please do subscribe. All it does is gives me a bit of a clue to say, don't bother making another video.
Oh, we love you, Paul Atreides.